Hello, how you guys doing? Capital P here with a new video. Today we're doing some real cool new series I got. It's going to be called Show Me Your Collection, where I go around interviewing you guys, the people, or just local collectors of any kind of collection at all, whether it be sports cards, sports memorabilia, comics, video games, shoes, whatever it may be, and have you guys show me off your collection. As you guys know, I'm in Vegas right now. I'm at my brother's house, my old house growing up. And he's gonna show me his collection. Now he collects something different. You know, you guys know I collect cards and sports memorabilia. He does comics, video games, things of that nature, Funko Pops. So real quick, he's gonna show us his comic book collection, what he likes, what he values. You know, show it to you guys and see what you guys think. So introduce yourself, Adonis.
My name's Adonis. As you know, I'm Perfecto's brother. And, you know, I'm going to show you a different store. I'm not going to show you my whole collection, but I'm just going to show you some CGC and maybe a couple raw issues. But right now, we got Avengers #4. This is the first Silver Age appearance of Captain America and a Submariner appearance. And the reason why it has that yellow label is because it's signed, graded as a 6.0.
So what got you into comics in the first place?
Just started reading as a kid. I think when we were a little kid, Grandpa showed me his collection. I've always liked Spider-Man, Captain America, stuff like that, and he gave me his first, he gave me a couple of my first issues in my collection. Actually, I got the second appearance of the Kingpin because of Grandpa.
So as you know, both of us collected, we sort of got it from our dad. Our dad, he's not a hoarder by any means, but he collects stuff, you know, like old school stuff, antiques, a lot of like Coca-Cola memorabilia,
M&Ms,
stuff of that nature. So sort of how we got started, but we sort of branched off. You went, as kids, we both collected video games. Even comics mixed in a little. I had a few comic cards. I remember like X-Men cards I would buy. You know, you buy your sports cards here and there, but eventually we got into our own. We became who we were. You got into your comics and video games, whatnot. I got into my sports cards. So
exactly,
that's pretty much how it happened. But yeah, that's cool. So is this old school? Like how this is original?
Yep, this is actually this came out in March 1964.
Oh.
So actually, what's a cool story behind this book is I want to say, I could be wrong, Strange Tales 181, actually they mentioned, like, you know, back in the day you didn't have, like, you know, social media, so basically fans wrote in saying, like, hey, redo Captain America, because they did an appearance of him, but it was like an imposter. Okay. And the Human Torch was in the back, like, what happened to this guy? And he was reading, like, old school Captain America comics, and, you know, a few months later they came out with Avengers #4 because they needed a leader.
Can you show us the back of it?
And
anything
the back,
special in the back, like particular to look at?
Nothing special, but this is a Stan Lee autograph, so I put it in the back. Instead of doing it on the front, like you may see, I wanted to keep the art clean.
Okay, got it.
So I didn't want to like ruin, like, oh yeah, now he's like, you know,
makes sense.
Signature. So I did it on the back, so
sort of the same thing as sports cards. We get it graded. We use like Beckett,
PGX,
PSA, SGGC. I don't know, maybe they do use that one you said. I've never seen any cards. But yeah, but I see what you're saying. With cards, we mostly get them signed on the front, you know, so you can see it, because you display it. You're not gonna display a card backwards. You're gonna display it in the front.
Yeah.
But when they issue now, new days, I guess you could say, when cards are issued out or put out, they're already signed by the players. They sign stickers, and then the company places them on and sends them out, distributes them. But you could get in-person signings, such as your comic here. And then usually we get them on the front. I've gotten cards signed in person, and I get it on the front.
Okay.
Yeah, but
yeah,
on the back, I see what you're saying, though, to preserve that.
I mean, I have gotten stuff signed on the front, like, you know, because there are places where you can, but there's certain comics where you're probably like, I just want to do it somewhere else, you know.
All right, got you. All right, let's move on to the next, man.
All right.
All right, Captain America, cool. Or Avengers. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be happy to see this one.
Ooh, what's that?
This is Amazing Spider-Man 300.
Okay.
Ah, shucks. Being difficult today.
There we go.
But yeah, this is the origin first appearance of Venom, Eddie Brock. Thing appearance, the last black issue. This is David Michelini and Todd McFarlane, but I had Stan Lee and Todd McFarlane sign the front, and I probably should have got it signed on the back, but I didn't.
That's a cool looking. And that's you said Venom or just Amazing Spider-Man?
No, this is Amazing Spider-Man, but this is the first appearance of Venom. Well, I should say Venom as Eddie Brock.
And the movie just came out, Venom, right?
The movie just came out, so, you know, you're going to see your comics rise and stuff like that when certain movies come out. And
what's the deal with the 300 in the background like that?
Well, you know, it's like a big thing, like, okay, you know, there's issue 1 through, and this is like 300.
Oh,
so
this is 300.
So it's kind of like one of those special issues, like, oh, hey, number 300. Like, you know, like if there was like a number 1,000, there's gonna be, it's gonna be a big deal. Like, hey, this is our 1,000 comic.
Okay.
So.
And do you get these graded yourself? Do you buy them graded typically? You send them in to get graded?
Actually, usually I'd like to buy them raw so I can read it once. I don't care. I'm one of those guys. Like, I'm gonna enjoy my comic book. Then I'll get it preserved like this. I honestly, the only reason why I get it CGC is because it preserves the value. You know, like I'd honestly like rather have them raw so I can read them, but I understand the reason why people do this because
From a value standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the value standpoint. But then it does, like at times I'm like, man, it does look cool. You know, you got it graded. You know, they got a little story behind it. I mean,
does how much does it cost typically? Like, do you send in bulk or one at a time?
Well, it actually depends on the tier. So like, you know, like the older, usually they might be a little bit more expensive, or they usually go off of value.
Oh. Okay.
So if it's valued more, then you're gonna
Pay more.
Yeah.
Okay. And then is there a registry? I see the registration number with the.
Yeah. So you can actually, if you got it, if you went online and typed in that barcode, it would actually say like Off-White Pages 9.4 Amazing Spider, and it would tell you like, hey, it's signed by these two.
Oh.
I want to get it signed by David Michelini.
Does it show the owner at all? It don't show that much information.
No, it doesn't show the owner because you might sell it, so
Yeah.
they don't do that.
All right, pretty cool, man. Let's move on to the next one.
This is actually one of my favorites just because, you know, I'm a big Captain America fan, and I used to work at a local comic book shop in Vegas, and it was Cosmic Comics Las Vegas. And they actually had this come in, like, hey, you know, we know you're a big Captain America fan, you know, take it.
Wow. So it's free?
It wasn't free. I mean, they gave me a good deal on it.
Okay.
But, yeah, I didn't come like this. Actually, it was raw. And, actually, on this one, even though Stan Lee did sign it on the back, he was actually the editor. He wasn't, like, the one who did the story or art or anything. He just did, you know.
And I noticed this number, like the last one was 9.4, this one's, so what is that, like, of course the higher the better.
Yeah.
Well, it says what, cream to off-white, so like the pages are turning color or something?
Yeah, it's kind of like tanning almost, but it's not tan, but like, yeah.
Okay, alright.
But then, yeah, you see it like, you know, back in the day, the swastika and,
Oh wow, yeah, I just noticed that.
you know, this is before like they had like the comic codes of approval and
What year is this?
1943.
1943. Oh yeah, this is during World War II.
Yep. This is how they kind of promoted some of the stuff.
Alright, cool. So American versus the Nazis, right? American
Yep.
versus the Nazis. Gotcha.
And a lot of people would probably be happy to see this one. This is the first appearance of Deadpool. Unfortunately, it's not a 9.8 that a lot of people would want, but it's still
It's 9.8 like a what would it?
near mid. Yeah. Then of course when you go higher than I mean, it's harder to get higher than 9.8, but it's just near mint. But first appearance of Deadpool, Wade Wilson, you know, some appearances.
Can you believe just $1 back then, you know, like February '98? How much is something like this worth now, like auto? Just approximately.
I think it's probably in the ballpark of 12. No, probably like 900. 900 or more.
Dang. And I remember buying like comics back then, like, and just not even thinking that like $1 comic could later on be worth this much.
I mean, I haven't looked up prices at all. If I looked up the price, I can give it an exact price, but.
And I do have some comic book people who collect. Jay Hawaii. There's like a few people I know who collect in different realms too. So if you guys know this stuff, you know, leave it in the comments what the value is, or you know, other little tidbits or of knowledge. You know, everyone knows different stuff, so it may help.
Yeah, but this is, you know, I'm a big Captain America fan. You know that.
Yeah.
But this is actually his first Silver Age origin of Captain America. Like, yeah, his origin was Captain America #1, but when he came to Marvel and did his thing, they kind of reshowed his origin story.
Oh, okay. Iron Man and Captain, so they work in tandem this time?
Yeah. Or I think it was a story of Iron Man, then he got into a story of Captain America.
This is March '63?
Yep. Oh, 65.
65.
It tells us Spence number 63.
Oh.
Yeah, if you look here, it says Marvel Comics 365. That's the date and year.
Oh, it says 3. This says March '63 here.
Yeah, March 63, so 365.
Oh, okay. So, you know.
This is issue number 63.
I'm just gonna shut up and let you continue. Cool, man. Cool. I think I've seen this before for some reason, like this photo. Is this famous?
No, remember, I think when I went with you to Seattle or Tacoma, I was looking at comic shops and I was gonna buy this.
Oh.
But then the guy had it like priced up more than I wanted. I was like, nah, it's not worth that much. I mean, yeah, you're probably gonna find somebody that's gonna buy it for that much. But no, I found this one at a really good price. This is the first appearance of the Falcon and Red Wing, Sam Wilson. You know, there's a Red Skull appearance, a MODOK cameo. You know, I've always loved Captain America and wanted to get more into his story. I don't have any of his first stuff. Like, I wish I had like his round shield, like the first appearance of when he got it, because they actually got it from the president. I want to say it was FDR. I actually gave it to him because he used to have like a different shield.
So we know like Spider-Man got bit by a spider and sort of got superpowers and whatnot. Batman's not really have superpowers. You know, he's like more scientist and has
money,
gadgets, and money. So what is Captain America? Is he an actual like superpowers, or like the suit when he puts on gives it to him or something? Or?
No, actually, he was like some scrawny kid that, you know, everybody used to pick on, bully. But they actually gave him a shot. Like, actually, it was a shot. They didn't put him in like a chamber.
Okay.
It was an actual shot, and then he got big, buff. He's supposed to be peaked to human perfection.
So he's like a science experiment?
Yeah, he's a science experiment.
Okay.
But he's like peaked to human perfection. So he's not like, he is a human, but he's like peaked to like the finest point that a human can be.
Okay. And I can't tell from this picture, is the Falcon a good guy or bad guy? Are they fighting, or are they on the side?
No, he's a good guy.
Okay. All right, cool then.
And I'm going to show you something a little different here. Actually, this is one of my first sketch covers that I got, like, you know, at one of my local comic shops called Vegas Comics.
That is tight. Power Rangers and Joker?
Yeah. So, like, you know, like, I've always liked Power Rangers, you know, then as a kid.
Yeah, I got both. Like, we used to watch Power Rangers all the time.
Yeah. And I think I was more into it. But, you know, it was like a Justice League Power Rangers thing. And he had this event, like, What Two Faces. And it was like a WTF, like, you know, like, What Two Faces.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay. And then this is actually a sketch, like, that's Myron Michaels. This is Norm Ratman.
So this is like a one. He just did this for you, or he made there's multiple of these?
No, he did this one for me. Like, so you told him what two faces you wanted. I was like, hey, can you do the Green Ranger helmet and like a Joker?
Dope.
Because I thought like I wanted to think of something like, because I liked the Power Rangers as a kid, and I wanted to see, like, you know, green with evil.
Yeah.
He was like supposed to be evil, then he turned good. So I was like, you know what? Imagine if the Joker had like, you know, the Green Ranger powers and just cause havoc.
And the Joker, he's sort of already know like martial arts, right? He be kicking butt sometimes.
Yeah. And then, like, you know, here's the artist's autographs, and that's actually Jason David Frank, the guy who actually played the Green Ranger in the TV show. And then
is it just artwork, or is there actual story in there?
There's actual story. Yeah, this is actually a blank cover, and then like it's like a sketch cover. But then yeah, so this is actually all white, but with like the lettering, like, you know, like, hey, boom, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Justice League, but it was blank, so somebody can draw on it. So I actually had a couple artists draw, color it.
That is so dope, honestly. I really like. I wish I could get something done like that now. I could do Batman, and I don't know who else I would do.
I would do
Homer Simpson. Or something.
I would do like Bruce Wayne and like the Black Ranger, because they actually had like a good thing going on.
I don't know. I'm weird. I would do something just total opposite realms.
But I thought that was unique. I thought that was different. And a lot of people, actually, when I got this done, a lot of people were like, man, that's really cool. Like, so they started doing their own thing. But
how much did it cost to get that made?
I want to say like all this with the CGC grading under 200.
Okay, that's not bad at all for a 101.
Yeah, but this is like it's one of a kind.
Yeah, it is. That's I really like that, man.
And like if you look at the back, it's white. So
okay, let's see that.
So it's actually white. So you can have somebody do the back also.
Yeah, at some point get the back.
Let me do this. This is the first appearance. Let me take it out of the
Gambit. Remember Gambit? Is that Storm?
But yeah, this is the first appearance of Gambit, or I should say, not first appearance, full appearance of Gambit.
Okay. And he was the one, I remember, that threw the playing cards, like that was his.
Yeah, and they exploded.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Chris Claremont.
That Storm?
I want to say that's Storm. It's been a while. I haven't read the comic in like a long time.
Why is the Spider-Man logo down here? Because
they do that sometimes. They'll, like, you know, they'll have different logos on there.
Interesting. It's good condition. 9.6.
Yeah, it is.
What year?
1990.
1990. Okay.
This is, of course, one of my favorite covers. I always loved Jim Steranko. Signed by Steranko, I need to signed by Stan Lee. I actually got a raw issue with this, signed by Stan Lee. I need to probably send it off to CBCS. But the death of Steve Rogers' identity.
Who's Steve Rogers? Captain America?
Captain America, yeah.
He died in this?
Well, his name, his identity, I should say.
Why, like, he got caught? Like, people found out who he was or something?
I think when I read the issue last, like I remember he like dove into the water, like they were shooting at him, like Hydra was. He dove into water and like he left his thing behind, and so everybody assumed that he was dead.
Oh wow. What year is this?
This is 1969.
1969. Wow. I was just. Well, Dad was born. Dad was a wee old teenager.
And I love Mark Miller, but you know, Civil War with the movies.
Okay.
This is the death of the New Warriors, Speed Freak. You know, I love Mark Miller's work. It's not autographed. See that blue label? So it's not autographed like some of the yellow labels. But yeah.
That is tight. Is that this is recent? Maybe within the last couple of years.
2006.
Oh, so 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It looks newer. Okay.
10, 12.
Cool, man.
And then I'm not really big into DC, but when I saw this, I was like, I can't pass it up. This is when Jason Todd officially becomes the second Robin.
Ooh.
So he's actually like this, yeah, the second Robin.
So what do you mean by second Robin? There's been one Robin died and they replaced him or something?
No, he could have became something different. I mean, I didn't get that far into DC, but you know, Batman has different Robins. Like, you know, Damian Wade ended up being another Robin, which is his son.
Oh, really?
And like, you know, there's actually a couple of girl Robins that ended up becoming like Batwoman, Batgirl.
The Boy Wonder, so that's where that comes from. Robin.
I believe. I could be wrong.
The Boy Wonder. Yeah, and if you guys know more, fill us down in the
because like there's so much in comics that, you know, you think you know everything and you don't. You learn something new. And then I've always loved Omega Red, but they never really did anything great with them. This is a Jim Lee cover. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are into comics say like, you know, oh, Jim Lee's my favorite artist. But yeah, this is the first appearance of Omega Red. X-Men number 4.
Wolverine was always my favorite. Have you seen Logan?
I have.
Logan was, I think that was a badass. I love Logan. I thought that was one of the better movies.
Yeah.
Comic card. Superhero movies. Alright. Thanks.
Then I'm gonna get into some other stuff. You probably can't see the autograph that well on this one, but this is Batman Spawn. Actually, this is a Frank Miller story, and this is actually Todd McFarlane work, and I actually got this signed by Frank Miller.
Okay, so what's the story behind this? You got Batman and Spawn in it?
Yeah, it's like a crossover, and actually a local comic shop here actually helped me get this done. It's actually Torpedo Comics here in Las Vegas. The owner of it is actually the drummer of System of a Down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, System of a Down.
So
they don't do music anymore, do they?
They do. Actually, they had a concert, I think, was it last week or this week?
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, this is autographed by Frank Miller. You know, everybody's going to say, like, Frank Miller's a legend, which he is, and got it signed by him. Now I just need to get it signed by Todd McFarlane, and it'll be complete.
Frank Miller, Todd McFarlane.
When Frank Miller's what's it called? Independent issues. He did Ronin 9.4.
Okay. And he did Frank Miller's Walking Dead?
No. Frank Miller's like he redid Batman, like Batman Year One and stuff like that, and he did some Marvel stuff like Wolverine and all that good stuff.
Well, shows what I know. All right, cool.
Of course, Wolverine. This isn't like the best grade, but another Frank Miller autograph. I need to get signed by a couple other people, but you know, Wolverine's first solo appearance in a comic. Not his first appearance was in Hulk 181, but this is his first solo comic. You know, his own comic.
So this is September '65 when he made his appearance. Like
no,
his solo.
September '82.
Oh, '82. I just seen this date. So, that's what I was assuming.
Yeah.
60 cents, man. Unbelievable. 60 cents.
Then this is, you know, one of Frank Miller's work. This is when Year One storyline begins. I never got it cleaned and pressed. Some of these comics I didn't get cleaned and pressed. Some of them I have.
What does that mean, clean and pressed?
So you get them cleaned and pressed, so like it can help you raise the value, or not value, but it will help raise the value if it, you know, helps out. Mm-hmm. But you see how it's an 8.5 if I got it cleaned and pressed, which it looks like it honestly needs. It could be higher.
So this is Batman. Is obviously people don't know. As a child, Batman's parents were killed. That's what sort of got him to fight crime, right? Because when they went to a concert or something like that.
Yeah, like it was like a what was it? A play, I think it was, or
play.
Theater, something like that.
His parents were mugged, and that's what got Batman into wanting to fight crime, right?
Yeah. And this is like issue number 404. Frank Miller started the Year One storyline, one of the best storylines out there.
That's dope artwork right there. That's the signature right there?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's in black. I probably should have got a different pin, but you know, if you can see it pretty well, I mean.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Of course, this is a
Black Lightning.
Black Lightning in the Netflix TV show, so this is his first appearance.
Okay. What, does he have a catchphrase?
To be honest, I don't think so, but I know he fought crime. Like, he always protected like the streets and you know, like tried to help kids. I think in this issue a kid died and because of gang violence, and he's trying to clean up the streets and stuff like that, and they're selling drugs. And
I don't know this year at all, but this artwork reminds me like 70s. Just his hair, his outfit, sort of like disco, you know, John Travolta look with the chest out. Looks like a 70s type of artwork.
Came out in 77.
77. Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Black Lightning. Even the name, like Black Lightning.
It just sounds cool. And then this is one of my buddy's favorite issues. This is the first appearance of Bishop, actually.
Oh, Bishop.
Malcolm and Randall in the cameo. And honestly, like, I'm surprised this comic's not worth more. And it should be, like, you know, like Cable and Deadpool are skyrocketing. This book isn't.
Who is Bishop? Like, he's an X-Men, or what is he?
He's an X-Men, yeah. He's like in line with like Cable and all those guys. And
so are these two fools right here anybody, or is it just Bishop is the main?
Oh no, that's Malcolm and Randall.
So who's Bishop?
Bishop's right there.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Malcolm and what's his name? Malcolm and Randall.
Yeah.
That's some weird names. There's some ordinary names for them.
Yeah.
Superhero. All right.
Then of course I've always liked this TV series, Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that TV show. Never watched it, but I heard of it plenty of times.
Adaptation of the first episode of the television series. It was supposed to be like a 3-issue thing that became more.
That's cool. Space, right? They're out in space, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Alright. And then did you, there was one comic I did want you to show. Sort of like the Batman one, right? About where his alright, here's this. Do you have that one available?
I don't. Batman Damn #1. That's actually off the CGC.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Probably won't fit.
Right here, though.
But that was like the first appearance of like the Batwang, or however they're gonna call it.
The bat.
But this is one of my favorite things. Like, I always loved dogs. I'm pretty sure you know I got 2 dogs.
Oh, that's cool.
Rex the Wonder Dog. I think this came out in 1952. What is it? Bob Kane, right? No, not Bob. Artist?
Simonson?
No, I want to say it's like Kane. I love this artwork. Actually, this is actually a pretty cheap series, but
Oh, okay.
Rex the Wonder Dog, the dog's like a he can tell human emotion. So like if you were to talk to him, he can tell your emotion. I need to get my master his gun, and you know they did stuff during World War II,
And this came out in 52.
yeah, I want to say 1952, I believe.
Alright, so this looks like it's still. It looks like it's still playing off the war, and then maybe incoming wars. But that'd be man's best friend is still fighting the war. It looks like.
Yeah.
Still playing off of that in the 50s. That was still a big deal because America was still in turmoil back then, or the world, I guess. Okay, that's cool.
And then a lot of people want to know about comic history. This is probably a really good book to pick up and read. It talks about Senate bills and how some artists and writers were blacklisted, stuff like that, to try to basically they tried to censor comic books, and they did do a good job at doing that. But then later on, of course, people fought back against censorship, so you can't censor it. Yeah. And
why is he sweating like that? I like the artwork though.
I don't know. Well, a lot of comic books back in the day, they said they used to have comic book burnings.
Really?
Yeah, they used to say comic books would make you gay or violent and
or evil, maybe.
Evil, yeah, stuff like that. And comic books actually had a bad rap for the longest time. They're like, oh, if you're an artist or a writer in comic books, you're nothing. And they used to blacklist them. So if they try to do their own novel, you can't do it because.
I could sort of see that America, it wasn't common yet, so sort of seeing that type of drawings of I guess weird things.
Yeah.
America thought. So it sort of says on the cover, weird. So it may have a name, Swamp Thing, but America sees it as sort of weird or just out there, and they weren't ready for that.
Exactly.
And it says it right there, how it changed America. So America adapted just like it always does. Pretty dope collection, man. We have your buddy Tom coming up, right? Tom is a local artist in Vegas. Are you an artist, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay, Tom's gonna go grab something. We'll keep talking. 10 Cent Plague. This was Adonis, my brother. His comic collection. I mean, you have so much more besides this in this show.
Yeah.
This is your favorites.
This is just some of this quick and easy stuff I can get to.
Yeah, pretty dope. I mean, I don't collect comics, so I don't know. It's a learning experience for me. Hopefully, some of you guys learned, even if you're not into comics, just sort of opened your eyes, or if you are into comics, sort of got you more like, oh, you know, there's some cool stuff out there. Any of this stuff for sale? Do you sell, or you just strictly collect?
I collect, but like I said, everything's for sale for the right price.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, honestly, like, I don't mind selling something. Probably the Captain Americas, I'd be more harder to sell, but I want to make my collections either. I want to get bigger keys or upgrade my stuff. You know what I mean?
That's sort of like me with cards. Like, I'll sell some stuff I do want to hold on, but most Seattle stuff I never sell. You know, we call it in the card community PC, where you personally collect.
Yeah, I guess these would be PC, but I wouldn't mind selling it to get a bigger key for PC. You know what I mean? For my personal.
Everything has a price, you know.
Yeah.
But besides that, not price. All right, we have Tom coming up next. Tom is your roommate. Tom is an artist. He does dope drawings, and he's actually just got some published. Is that right?
Yeah, he got his first comic published in tribute to Michael Turner's legacy.
Okay. So he's just preparing his stuff. He's going to show you guys that. Or if Adonis wants to show something.
I'll put it up here.
Okay. All right, cool. So tell us a little brief synopsis of this.
A lot of people know Michael Turner.
Okay.
So if they're into comics, Michael Turner actually died young.
Oh.
He actually died of cancer. I think he was like, what, 26 or 28? Oh, he was in his 30s. I'm sorry, like 30, in his 30s.
Okay.
And, you know, like his comic company just hasn't been the same afterwards. And he created Aspen Comics, like, you know, Witchblade, Keanu.
Witchblade, that sounded like a video game, I think. Maybe they turn that into a video game, Witchblade?
I want to say that it was like an animated series. A video game I'm not sure of, but definitely like an animated series. Like, it was actually pretty good.
So he's not like DC or anything of that, but Aspen is a prominent name in the industry?
Was.
Okay.
They still are.
They still are?
They could be better.
Okay.
That was Adonis, not me.
I'm gonna say was just because, like, yeah, I see their stuff, but it's just not the same.
Show us the back of that. Like, is there any more information? All right. So what is this right here? What are you showing us? Just a Michael Turner tribute, or is this what
This is
Tom?
a tribute. So like Tom's actually published in here.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So like, you know, they had like fan art in here. Let me find his. You know, you see like there's different artists in there.
Yeah. Okay. Sketch art and stuff like that.
Yeah, I see different artists.
Cool. And we know Tom is a great artist.
And that's Thomas's right here.
Okay, Thomas made that. And what is that? That just is that actual character? Or is that just?
That's an actual character.
Oh, he's in something. So that's his name there, Thomas. He's local.
He's gonna start making his own YouTube.
Looks like a Heaven Blade or something, or video game Heaven Blade. All right. So if you want to talk more about it, Tom, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Sip it up.
All right. So we got next Thomas, Adonis's buddy, roommate, local artist here in Vegas, and he's gonna just show you guys some stuff and talk about it.
All right. So like they were saying, this is the Michael Turner Legacy Edition. This is the first published work for me in my comic career, and a cool little story about that is that Michael Turner was one of my artistic idols. He was actually kind of like a drawing of him that one of the artists did. He was a young up-and-coming artist. Kind of came out of nowhere, acclaimed to fame like real quick, and really awesome dude. This is him right here. So he kind of came out of nowhere, started drawing Witchblade, got popular for that. He worked on a couple other books too. I think they got canceled right before that, but he came into town here in Las Vegas, where, you know, I'm born and raised, obviously, and he came into town back when I was in high school, like years ago, and he said that, or he came in for an autograph signing, and I made sure that like I was there to go meet him, and I promised him, or I told him that my first published work was going to be with this company, and he was like, oh, that's awesome, you know, and it turns out that it took a couple of years, but not only am I published with this company first, but it's a legacy edition, so
Nice.
It's really meaningful. So this is the original art that I had in there. I don't know if you can see all that.
Yeah, the original art.
Yeah, so it's traditional pencils. It's one of his characters, Keanu. She's one of my favorites that he created for his company.
So that's just straight pencil?
Yeah, it's just pencil on paper.
That's awesome.
So I took this and I scanned it in, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead and try to move this out of the way. But this is digital inking. I have some color on there right now because I was starting to mess around with that. But this is the actual like digital inks that I converted this, scanned it into the computer, did the inks digitally, and this is the image that was published in the book. So it's really cool to be part of that, and it's first experiment actually with digital inking and some colors.
How did he pass away?
He died of cancer. Yeah, he was snowboarding. I think he crashed, and his hip was like hurting really bad from that. And he went to go get looked at and found out that he had chondrosarcoma.
Oh.
And so I began his fight with cancer, and he ended up losing that about 10 years ago. So we also have some other original art here. I'm not sure if you can see, but these are kind of like little gag drawings for Adonis and his dogs. So we did like a comic cover of one of his dogs, Lola. His dog's like right over here. I don't know if you got him on there. Yeah, I drew these.
Oh.
So I did this. This is like a comic cover of Lola, and this one is Captain Awesome, his other dog. Yeah, so we did these.
Yeah, they're superheroes, huh?
Yeah, it's like a little gift. And then one of my favorite pieces of original art that I've ever done, I did as a gift for him too, which is actually tattooed on his back. It's a back piece.
Right.
But it's Captain America.
I've seen it.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can
we got that.
really get that. So one of my favorite pieces here.
Yeah, that is tattooed on his back. I've seen it. He loves to show it off.
Gang style.
Yeah, gang.
But
great artist, man. And do you have plans for any more work to go up, or?
I do.
More?
So my plan is to get into self-publishing.
Okay.
Or take like the DC, Marvel, Aspen Comics route and trying to submit work with them. So we'll see how that goes. Right now I'm currently working on updating my portfolio. I've got a lot of work to do, and I've kind of transferred from traditional into digital. And I also want to create a YouTube channel where I can just kind of walk through and show people how to make comic books, whether traditional or digital. So that's what's on the docket right now.
Do you have any Instagram, anybody can follow, any social media? Anything?
I do have an Instagram. Yeah, it's there's not really much up on there right now because I'm building content right now, but if you want, let me go ahead and get the handle, because I got the underscores and stuff in there, so I just want to make sure that I got the right thing.
So you guys can see both him and my brother, they're roommates, and they share this passion together, so it helps with their passion and creativity to get out there. That's great artwork just for the dogs alone. That's just something, someone could just draw up like that. That's awesome.
You can
have talent like that.
I appreciate it. You can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Deja DEJA _ Intendude ENTENDUDE with 2 underscores at the end.
All right, we'll put that down in the description as well. Get your artwork out there. Hopefully you guys can support. Las Vegas boy, born and raised. My brother's been out here since we've been 12, so about 20-some plus years. I come out here periodically, come visit. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys sort of somebody else's collection. What interests them or what's out there besides cards. I do the cards, but there's so much more out there to collect and get into. I mean, I just collect and open packs of cards. This is actual talent right there to be able to draw this and make stories. So I thank you guys for sharing, man. Anything else you want to say?
No, just appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate the time.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.